Good day and welcome to the news on the hour. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. The federal government has secured a $134 million loan from the African Development Bank aimed at boosting agricultural production, particularly in the seeds and grains sector. The funding was disclosed today in a statement released by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. The Chief Information Officer at the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Erama Antonia, stated that the fund will support farmers across the country to increase production of key staple crops, which will improve national food security. The chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, retired on Wednesday, disclosed that the renewed partnership between his agency and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control will help curb substance abuse in the country. He stated this after the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the NDLEA and NAFDAC. Brigadier General Marwa, retired, noted that the Memorandum of Understanding will establish a framework that will enhance the sharing of vital intelligence, facilities and expertise, which will amplify the ability to effectively address the challenges of drug abuse and counterfeit drugs. Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpewulu has approved the dissolution of the executive of all boards, agencies and parastatals in the state public service with immediate effect. In a statement on Wednesday by his chief press secretary, Mr. Fred Itua, the governor ordered all affected appointees to hand over all government properties in their possession to the most senior public officers in their respective ministries, departments and agencies. The directive affected all appointed permanent secretaries from outside the state public civil service, while all political appointees are relieved of their appointments with immediate effect. The governor also ordered the immediate and indefinite suspension of the collection of all revenues in Edo State, especially in motor parks. The federal government has been urged to seek alternative sources of power generation in a bid to stabilize electricity distribution in the country. The call was made by a one-time top managerial staff of the Nigeria Electric Power Authority, Engineer Prince Charles Eweka, during an exclusive interview on Providence Television International. Engineer Eweka stressed the need for rural electrification, noting that the burden will be lessened on the national grid if alternate sources of power generation are utilized. He further stated that electric power generation is not the sole responsibility of the federal or state government and called on corporate organizations to invest in alternate sources of power generation and distribution.
The expansion of the power industry to even the local government level, because the federal government cannot do it alone. There is nothing stopping local governments from doing rural electrification.
What method or methodology would they use?
Very good.
The Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention today announced that it has endorsed an Mpox test from Morocco, describing it as a major milestone in efforts to combat the outbreak of Mpox in Africa. The Mpox diagnostic test is the first locally produced real-time PCR test for Mpox. It quickly detects pathogen DNA in blood, saliva, or tissue, and the Africa Center for Disease Control stated that it is reliable and efficient. The test enables the detection of the Mpox virus from swabs taken from human lesions. The remains of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has arrived in Abuja in preparation for his final interment. His body arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at 12:16 p.m. today. Funeral rites for the late Chief of Army Staff will commence today with a service of songs, which will be followed by his interment at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja on Friday, the 15th of November 2024. And that's the news on the hour. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.